Hey YouTube, and welcome back to another Punishing Gray Raven video. Today we're going to be going over mistakes you wish you knew to avoid in Punishing Gray Raven. And this video is mostly be towards newer players, and maybe for some players who have already been playing for a little bit, they might figure out something that they might have been missed along the way. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. In the beginning of the game, a lot of people are going to be wondering if they should reroll or not. And in my opinion, rerolling is probably a big waste of time in Punishing Gray Raven. You're better off just starting out the game, and you will be getting an S rank selector in the beginning. And personally, I would recommend picking the character that you think looks the coolest to you, especially. I wouldn't really worry about, oh, what's more meta, what's more useful at this point or there, because you will be having characters in the game to help you complete content. And the faster you actually get to start making progress on your account to do weeklies and dailies to get your black card game, just to pull characters, not wasting so much time trying to reroll and get a certain character. Because most characters in the game, if you build them outright, they can pretty much do really good damage, and they can help you clear majority of the content in the game. Trying to finish out the story and get as much of the currency as you can to pull onto the beginner banner to get your first S rank character. And then from there, I would try to decide what other characters you kind of want, or maybe other teams you're trying to build. For example, let's say you pulled S Karina from your 40 standard summons, then maybe if you're trying to focus on a dark team in the future, I would try to pick Kamui on the S rank selector. You can start building him out for a dark team because he's really good as a tank. Or if you really wanted to and you didn't really want to use Watanabe, you could use Kamui and use him as your dark DPS. One thing I recommend doing for skill points in Punishing Gray Raven is not to waste all your skill points on all the skills on every character that you're going to be using on your team. I would recommend trying to use your skill points on your main DPS unit first. You can go all balls to the walls, you can upgrade everything on your main DPS. But for like Liv in the beginning, and for Nanami, I would focus on their QTE. That's what they're going to be mostly used for. You can start upgrading their skill points later on when you have a couple more main DPSs kind of built. For example, like Fallen Star update, which if you made your Dark Watanabe and you made another main DPS, kind of like the free Bianca that you get in the game, then I would recommend starting to build out maybe your Liv on her skills. In the beginning, for your overclock material, I wouldn't waste too much of them on obviously the 4-star memory sets. I would try to focus on investing onto the 6-star memory sets and getting those. You can make a couple 5-star memory sets for your main DPS and for your Liv and your Nanami. That I would highly recommend doing, just building out a 5-star set for each one of them, just to get you started and be able to farm more. And then from there, I would focus on most of your overclock material onto those 6-star memory sets when we start acquiring more of them. And for the weapons, it is fine to build 5-star weapons if you want. You can build the 5-star weapons for the characters. But don't forget, they do have 6-star signature weapons, and eventually when you start getting a couple of them for those characters, you might not end up using those 5-star weapons anymore. But then you can just turn them into this material over here, which you can use to actually choose other sets. I do also recommend trying to spend some of your stamina doing co-op, because with co-op you're going to be able to acquire your 5-star weapons without pulling on the banners. And as we can see here, if you complete a full run, you get 150 of the currency for recycled weapons. And as I said, that's really good, because then you won't need to pull on a banner to get 5-star weapons for newer characters that come out. And as we can check the shop if you do enough co-op to acquire a 5-star weapon without pulling on a banner. And as you can see here, the weapons will be 450, and you get 150 per co-op season or session. So you get 150 a week of the shards. So within 3 weeks, you'll be able to acquire a 5-star weapon, which is actually very nice. Another tip I have is not to spend too much black cards trying to get stamina, just so you can play the game longer. If you really need other content in the game to do, there is Warzone, which it gets kind of competitive a little bit, and there is also Phantom Pain Cage. So I would really recommend focusing on those two pieces of content after you finish your stamina. And while we're on the topic of Pain Cage, I do want to let you guys know that you want to make sure to do your Pain Cage, because you end up getting this currency material, these skulls. And what you can basically do with the skulls is you're able to acquire shards of characters. And what I recommend doing in Pain Cage 100% is not to focus on any of the A rank characters with the currency. I would focus on S rank characters, because when you acquire an S rank character, you're able to pull out up to 30 shards out of the shop, and that is enough actually to get an S rank character to double S. And then I would say, let's say there's no S rank character that you're currently trying to work towards in Pain Cage, and you're not trying to get any more dupes, you already got the dupes out of them, then I would try to focus on the A rank characters that you would like through here. And what I recommend is always finishing out your lives first on your account, because your lives will be your healers and they will help you on a lot of teams. Also in Pain Cage, I do want to make sure you understand that when you set up a team, you only have a certain amount of runs they could do. As you can see by this little AP number here, they can do up to 5 runs. And for Pain Cage, each boss has about 5 stages. So that pretty much takes out the whole team's ability to go through it. Again, the weaker stages, I wouldn't recommend using your higher level characters on the weaker stages, and I would try to separate your higher level characters onto like 3 kind of teams. But in the beginning, I would recommend using your higher level characters for the higher stages that you can accomplish and acquire. We do also have these bounties, and what I recommend doing for bounties, you're going to be able to reroll up to, I think, 6 times the bounty before choosing it. And rerolling it doesn't take no currency at all. It's free rerolls, but you can reroll the mission to see if you're able to get an S rank version. And if you can get an S rank version with the supply cards, that would be preferred if you can get those, because what you're going to use the cards for is obviously pulling for more characters in the future, which the majority of us would like. Next, I do want to bring your attention also to Dorm, because what you're going to be doing in Dorm, you're basically be doing missions. And why I would focus on this Dorm system is able to acquire these coding sketches, because what you can do with coding sketches is build them up to be able to get free codings for characters in the game. And with the sketches, you can use them here to acquire the coding blueprints. And with the blueprints, you're able to acquire basically free skins for some of the characters in the game. And last and final thing I would recommend for newer players is to make sure you do all your dailies and your weeklies to get as much black card gain as you can. This game is actually pretty nice on the amount of black cards they give you for the amount you need to pull characters. If you literally free to play it, you're able to acquire every new S-rank character, or pretty much every new character that comes out. Maybe you won't be able to go crazy dupes on them, but you'll be able to at least acquire them if you really would like. So again, do not forget to do your Warzone and your Pain Cage, because they do tie into this weeklies. And don't forget to do your dailies as well to increase your account level, obviously, because with a higher account level, you do get increased stamina gain. And yeah, and that would be pretty much everything I had to go over. If you guys found the video informative and helpful, leaving a like, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and it would help the channel out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next Punishing Gray Raven video. Peace.